guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I am here in a special location deep within Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, because guess what? We have something all new and exciting from Cadillac, and guess what? It's here right next to me. This is your all new, first time ever 2025 Cadillac Optiq. But before we get into their entry gateway into their luxury EV lineup, let's talk about what's going on here. It goes all the way back to 1903. When you think about what Cadillac was bringing at its earliest inception and through the decades, really hitting on a pinpoint of bringing luxury, class, and style. Well, of course, with the movement towards electrification, GM overall has had a very special game plan, especially when it comes to the Ultium battery pack. Now, this being a Cadillac and a GM product is gonna take advantage of that Ultium battery pack, but what it's gonna do is now we have a little bit smaller size crossover SUV. This will be your starting point that brings you to Cadillac. Of course, we've already brought you the full drive and the excitement of the Lyriq. We have the upcoming Escalade IQ and even that ultra special Celestiq. So with this being the Optiq, of course, looking at a price point that's going to be very obtainable, but also bringing that great Cadillac style, technology, and of course, we can't forget about performance. So why don't we go ahead, dive into this new Optiq. I want to show you what is so unique about it, and I want to find out, is it the best new compact size crossover electrified SUV that you should be buying if you want that luxury style and performance? Let's go ahead, dive in and find out. Right off the bat, the proportions. It's interesting how you could see the family resemblance of the other Cadillac vehicles within it, especially the Lyriq, but when you look at it, you could see some differences that are gonna make it unique. First of all, this color. Monarch orange, just like a butterfly, a monarch butterfly, really bringing color and style to grab your attention. And I think that was very smart to go with a color like this, because not only is the color gonna grab your attention, but also all the other special touches. Now I'm lucky enough to have the key fob in my pocket here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unlock the doors, just like as if you were walking up to your vehicle, and what that's gonna do is it's gonna create a lighting sequence. And that lighting sequence, depending if you're walking away or walking towards the Optiq, is going to welcome you into the vehicle. So when you're looking up front, here comes that choreographed dance of all that illumination. The way Cadillac does their lighting for basically years has been very, very unique. Love the way you have your full LED daytime running lamps, turn signals. This vertical stack of multi-LED headlights is going to give you a nice, clear, bright white light to illuminate in front of you. But like I said, it helps create a presence as you walk up to the vehicle and a unique experience owning a Cadillac, especially when looking at this Optiq. Now, you'll notice they did a great job on this particular setup with the gloss black accents. All of this has been styled to not only look pleasing to the eye, but also to cut through the air like a hot knife through butter. Because as we know, when it comes to electrification, range is a big thing, right? Everybody's, what's the range, what's the range? Well, guess what? I'm here to tell you that Cadillac has informed us you're looking at a range of about 300 miles. And the way that they've done this, of course, is with the Ultium battery pack, 89 kilowatt hour battery pack, but also we're looking at specially designed low resistance rolling on the tires. And wait until you hear about the actual charging with this vehicle. That's really gonna be a game changer with this Optiq. Now, as we come across that iconic front badge, so much history with this American luxury car company. It's interesting how they've done such a magnificent job with the Escalade, and I think they're taking a lot of that same magic when it comes to their electrified vehicles. So of course you're gonna have that prominent Cadillac badge in the center. Normally we would have a grille, right? If this was an ICE vehicle, we would have a grille, but I think Cadillac is doing it spot on the money when it comes to how they're making it have that Cadillac look to it. And what's great about this design, it's actually not on the surface. It's actually underneath, laser etched in to give you that nice style and also the illumination that goes with it. And I'm digging how the gloss black accents, everything ties in very well. Now, of course, you're gonna have a forward-facing camera, which is important for when you're parking. Don't wanna, hit a curb or anything with this beautiful front end. And even on the bottom portion, look at how you have that laser etching there. You have a gloss black splitter to help bring air into that lower intake area. And what's nice is you'll notice that there's active shutters that open and close to let more air in or less air depending on what you're doing with the vehicle, how you're driving the vehicle. And obviously you have that liquid cooled Ultium battery pack. Now, as we rise up, love the clean style on the hood. You see those crisp, familiar lines. You look at an Escalade, you look at an XT4, XT5, Lyriq, and all the rest of the vehicles. Nice, clear, crisp lines. Now we're actually gonna come to the driver's side, and the reason why we're gonna do that is because this is where you're gonna find the charge port door. Now before I show you the charge port door, let's talk about charging. Because besides range, another thing that people wanna know, how long does it take to charge? Well, guess what? On a DC fast charger, you're looking at about 70 miles in 10 minutes. It's like 70 miles plus in 10 minutes of charging. That to me is gonna be one of those things that makes people's eyes open and say, wow, that could change my viewpoint on what an electrified vehicle is all about. Now, when you look at the charge port door, just like on the rear liftback, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna hit that Cadillac badge, swings open, you could do your charging, and then to close it, nice to have that power closing door. Just adds to the specialness of what this vehicle is about. And like I said, even though this is the gateway into the Cadillac electrified family, you're still gonna get a lot of high-end touches. Wait until we get to the interior. That's another area where your mind's gonna be blown. Now, as we come around the bend, we're gonna talk about wheel and tire setup. Like I said, Cadillac worked with Continental to develop a low resistance rolling tire. Less drag from the wind, less drag from the rubber beating the road. What that's gonna do is help with that 300-mile range. So what you're gonna find is a nice classic style to their wheel, just like you would find on many of their other Cadillacs. I love almost like this polished look to it, multi-spoke design. It's a 21-inch wheel. And then if you're wondering, well, what are the tire size? You're looking at 275 on the width and a 40 series sidewall. One of the touches that I think was smart is how they bring the gloss black accents and then run it over the fender openings. Nothing too high, and it really gives a nice balance, especially with the Monarch Orange. It's a beautiful color, don't get me wrong, but sometimes, depending on the brightness of the color, it's nice to kind of cut it down a little bit, just with a little bit of accents here and there, and I think they did that really well. Now, here's another crazy part of the story. This comes standard with dual motors. So what does that mean? You have a motor up front, a motor out back. That means it comes standard with all-wheel drive. You're looking at 288 horsepower, 333 pound-feet of torque. So that's what they're bringing when we look at standard features. So you don't have to do this guessing game of, do I want one motor, two motors, 12 motors? It's just all-wheel drive, dual motor. I like the way they did that. Now coming down the side of the vehicle, of course we have another Cadillac badge to balance out the one that's on the charge port door. And from the side, you can see the dimensions. A little bit smaller than the Lyriq. And when I say a little bit smaller, we're not talking about this is just some really tight, small thing. It actually has, I think, the right amount of room to separate it from the Lyriq and get people into the door of one of these Optics. Now, another thing that I like, especially with this Monarch Orange, is having your blacked out two-tone style. So it goes into the A-pillar. Love the way they have these quarter windows right here that are gonna help with visibility when you're parking, especially in tight city streets here in Detroit, Michigan. You're gonna have, of course, your gloss black on your mirror caps, 360-degree cameras, and I love the way they run the LED turn signals, super slim and trim. From the side of the vehicle, the overall dimensions, as we go up, you're gonna have a fixed panoramic glass roof. What that's gonna do for you is really give a nice open air feel experience, and you're not gonna compromise. The way the designers did the interior, you're not gonna compromise on headroom and overall passenger room. And that's something to definitely mention, even before I get in it, is that this is gonna have class-leading rear passenger seat volume and cargo volume. That's what they're doing with this. It's not just about style. It's not just about, you know, moving your body from A to B. It's about giving you that Cadillac experience. Now, as we come towards the rear, you'll notice how we have those flush-mounted door handles. This is all to help with air resistance. And then on the bottom portion, the balancing game that they're playing with the body color and the gloss black accents. We keep working our way towards the rear, and this is something that really is something special. You might look at this and say, is this some type of decal or vinyl or something like that? This is a new process, and the Optic is actually the first vehicle that Cadillac is using this process on. It's a multi-layer glass layering process. The design is actually on the first layer. So this design won't fade, it won't chip, you can't scratch it off. And what I love about it is that you're taking that graphic from the Cadillac badge and incorporating it into design. Watch and follow my fingers from this real quarter window. You can actually see through that into the rear. The lines actually flow into those taillights that are gonna be on the rear of the vehicle. So like I said, it's about fine-tuning the attention to detail, but also keeping things like your lighting, that usual Cadillac setup. Now, as we swing it around back, this is one of my favorite things, no rear wiper. Like I've mentioned on many other reviews, designers do so much work into the rear end of the vehicles and then they put a big wiper. What they discovered was it's really not needed because of the aerodynamic work that's happening. So you have this long roof spoiler that extends off the back. Of course, that's where they mounted the third brake light. Let's play a 10-second fun Jeopardy question. What was the first year that they came out with the third brake light that was DOT required? Yes, you're right, 1986. That was the first year of the third brake light, and that's why it's there. But love the way they work the aero even into the rear liftback area. The extension, I'm actually gonna have Steven swing around to the side here to show how that extends off the back, because like I said, this is stuff that they fine-tune to get that efficiency. And Cadillac is no stranger to airflow, because if you watch the IMSA WeatherTech series, they run the Cadillac GTP car, and if you were paying attention, they've been winning lots of races and championships, and all that gets brought into the vehicles that we get to drive. Of course, you're gonna have your badging on the back, the 450E4. Take a guess what the 4 means. That's gonna be that all-wheel drive. The lighting, how it trickles in to the rear lower area. And look at just the way it illuminates and all of the intricate artistic detail that they do to the actual lighting. Of course, you're gonna have that Cadillac badge with that camera setup in the rear. And then the name Optic. I think this is gonna be one of those names. You're starting to see more Lyriqs on the road. Obviously, everybody and their mother knows an Escalade. I think this will be one of those names that will get to grow and be part of the Cadillac family for a long time. And then as we drop down, very nice and clean on the lower rear bumper. What I'm glad that they did is they tied in the gloss black, but you'll notice they also brought in some of this gunmetal metallic gray, but it actually has some design to it. Think about it. A lot of brands will just slap on a piece and paint it and call it a day. Cadillac goes through the things of, some people may never even see this part, but that's what I like to do, is show you all the different angles. But why don't we go ahead, let's jump inside and see what big things are in this new Optic. All right, guys, we are inside this 2025 Cadillac Optic. I know you're saying to yourself, well, Joe, I'm really liking the look of this new electrified Cadillac, but it's gotta be some crazy high price point. Well, guess what? That's where you're wrong. We actually know what the starting price is gonna be. You're looking at around an MSRP of $53,000. Wait until you hear about a lot of the standard features, not only, like I said, with the all-wheel drive and the dual motor setup, but wait until you hear what you get on the inside, but let's see how Cadillac brought it big for their smaller size EV to the door panels. You're going to notice new materials. The materials up top, which actually start on the top of the door panel and then go throughout the vehicle, are actually made from recycled material that is turned into the yarn and the thread to make that cloth style. I like the way they brought the seat controls onto the door panel. The reason why that's a benefit, not only is it easily accessible, but it makes the seat actually larger, the real estate for your body. They're able to design a larger seat for comfort. You have standard massage seats in the Optic, standard. And then of course, what you're looking at is you have your memory seat settings, heated seats, and ventilated seats. So you're definitely gonna be able to feel the comfort in this Optic. On the armrest, that white contrast stitching, the materials, especially in the metals that they use, not only for certain parts of the door panel, but then you look at the AKG premium sound system, 19 speakers. Look at the way they did all of that laser work into the aluminum finish to give you that quality that you come to expect from Cadillac. And then the door pocket is ginormous. And what I like about it is that they're actually putting the cloth style material inside the door pocket. So think about that. You have your iPhone 47 Platinum Edition, you put it in there, it's not gonna get scratched. Or let's say you're just being old school and you feel like listening to your old Walkman, you could take it off and put it in there and it's not gonna get scratched, and then you could sell it on eBay for $1 million. Now going from the door panel to the dash, love the soft touch of material, that cloth. It's crazy to think that this material here is from recycled materials. That shows the intention of this Optic. AC vents nicely integrated. I like the way they have real manual controls. I know that may sound kind of silly, but there are brands out there that are making all the AC controls, including moving the air ducts, built into the infotainment system. One thing that I think was smart was getting rid of the manual release for the glove compartment. Gives it a nice, smooth, clean look, and then you're just gonna be able to access it through the infotainment system. Coming on into the infotainment system, you have 33 inches of uninterrupted screen. It's 9K resolution, LED lighting, 9K resolution. Obviously, the familiar apps and functions that you are used to. You can go into your different camera settings and everything else very easily. Now, here's the fun thing. Remember back when you were in kindergarten, that one kid you hated had the box of Crayola crayons with 64 colors and the sharpener on the back, and your mom would never buy that for you? Well, now you get to laugh at them, because not only do you have ambient lighting, not only do you have more than 64 colors, you have 126 colors of inside lighting that you can change up all by the touch of your finger on the screen. So that's, like I said, what they're bringing. You, of course, have your charging setup when you want to charge, fast charge prep, all those things that make driving an EV that much better when you have access. Even the modes. So you have Tour, Sport, Snow, Ice, and My Mode, which is going to be where you could actually set up each preference based off of what you want, and that's going to give your Optic a unique personality depending on the particular drive that you're having that day. And then you have your Google built in with your Google Maps and everything. And thankfully it's not showing right now because I don't want my secret location to be known by anybody. Working our way down, you see how they did that work on etching into the materials. You have real physical buttons and switchgear for your AC control. Down below, this is where you're going to have more storage, USB-Cs, and then of course in the lower portion, this is where you could put a bag, a pack, a sack, a purse, even a fanny pack you could put in here. And you'll notice it's all because of this being an EV. You have a lower floor that frees up all that space for great storage. And I like the way they brought the nice soft cloth material everywhere you're touching. Of course, when it comes to your center console, you have that floating style, 2 cup holders. Love the way they did the work. If you don't want to touch the screen, let's say you have a phobia of touching infotainment system screens, you could use the direct drive control knob with the Cadillac badge there. Of course, you have your familiar Cadillac key fob, all the goodies, remote start. Love the way they're doing this unique finishes on the center console, because the best thing is it looks good and it hides fingerprints. So you don't have to worry about the FBI doing a fingerprint test, or maybe you do, I don't know, that's your business. But what's nice is it hides all the fingerprints, but yet it looks really classy, and you have a place to put your phone very easily. Flip this up, you got your wireless charging, you got enough room in here to easily put 2 Rolexes, no problem. And then the seats, the materials, the style, the stitching, perforated, massage, full electric assist for the passenger, heated and ventilated. And then of course, like I said, you have that fixed panoramic roof, really gives a nice open air feel. And then just like many other GM quality vehicles, you have that digital rear view mirror that's gonna give you a clear bird's eye view out the back. But why don't you come over to the business end? I wanna show you behind the wheel in this Optic. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. One of the things I want to point out is I like how large the opening is for you to get in and out of the Optic. So don't think just because it's smaller than the Lyriq, it's going to be too tiny. They did a good job managing the space, and that's one of the things that with EVs, you can't easily do in an ICE vehicle, is you could widen the wheelbase because you don't have certain things to worry about, and you could move things around so much easier in this Optic. Now down below, you're gonna get that nice aluminum sill plate with the Cadillac crest lit up. Of course, in the pedal box, you have an aluminum brake pedal and throttle. Nice sized dead pedal. Seats are very comfortable. You have a wider, lower cushion area, and the top, because all the controls are moved to the door. I'm 6 feet tall, even with the glass roof, I feel great in here. And then we look at the steering wheel. One of the things you'll notice is that the Optic comes standard with Super Cruise, one of the best autonomous driving systems that we have used here on Rady's Rides. Of course, you're gonna have heated steering wheel, all of your easy to reach switch gear, and then you do have the paddle on the back for that braking, where you could actually brake with your finger on the wheel. And this obviously has different levels of regen braking, one pedal action, the whole 9 yards, like the Lyriq, just in a little bit smaller size. Now, when it comes to the screen, like I said, 33 inches, the information in front of the driver is everything that's important, nothing that you don't need, and then obviously very easily configurable. Even on the side over here, you could see how you could adjust your lighting all by using the touchscreen. So definitely bring in the technology and a head-up display. So they got you covered when it comes to tech, but they said that this has class-leading rear passenger volume. Let's go back there and find out. All right, guys, back seat time. And this is one of those things that, like I said, unless you have sat in an electrified vehicle, you're not gonna understand it. I almost don't understand it, and I've been in quite a few. I am a mile away from that panoramic glass roof, lots of headroom, lots of shoulder room. One of the things you'll notice is how flat the floor is, because remember, the Ultium battery pack is in the belly on the bottom of this thing, and that's gonna give us a flatter floor, which gives you more room. Remember how I told you about the touches? Look at how they brought the stitching onto the backs of the seats. The pockets, you could easily put 2 Coney dogs there, no problem. And then you have a nice little command center with AC vents, 3 stages of heated seats, 2 USB-Cs, a home power source, and enough room down below for about 5 Twinkies. So they got you covered there. Love the way all the materials, even the aluminum speaker grill covers, everything conveys from the front to the rear passenger room. And then nicely Charmin soft padded armrest with the 2 cup holders. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into the last test. Let's get into the cargo area of this Optic. All right, guys, cargo area time. Like I pointed out before, just like the charge port door, where do you push to open up the liftback? You're gonna hit that Cadillac crest. That's gonna have the electric assist rising up. And this is what you're gonna be greeted to. You know, some EVs, I think, have kind of messed up the rear cargo area because they wanna make storage, they wanna make all these other, you know, compromises, but I think they did a very special job here. And let me show you. First of all, look at where the bumper level is. So that lift over area is going to be very, very low. You're not going to have to take that big, huge barrel of pickles to lift it very high to get it into the back cargo area. You'll also notice these large nooks on both sides, easily fit a box of Twinkies on both sides. Plus you could see our 19 speaker. I counted all speakers in here. They're all here and present, even on the rear of the vehicle in the cargo area. And guess what? You could actually perform a little magic trick for your friends and family, maybe even your neighbors, maybe even the mailman. Let's say that you have something that you need a little bit more height, you need a little bit more space. Well, guess what? You don't need to get a different SUV. That's not the magic trick. You could just do this. Go ahead, take that cargo floor area. 1, 2, 3, easy peasy lemon squeezy. You just got more cargo volume. And then of course, those seats are gonna do the 60-40 split tango when you fold them down to even maximize your room even more. But these are the things that Cadillac has thought about. It's not just about making an SUV that looks good. It's not just about an electrified SUV that has a good range or fast charging time. It's also about making it very versatile. Now, I know you want to go for a drive in it. I definitely do, especially because I have the key, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it past the security guards. But we will be doing a drive very shortly, but until that day, let's wrap it up for Motor City. All right, guys, it's been an exciting time here at this special location. I definitely want to thank the whole Cadillac team for inviting us here to get the first look of the new Cadillac Optiq so that we could bring it to you. Now it's your turn. After watching what I have shown you, what do you think about the new Optiq? Do you think this is the best new crossover electrified SUV, especially if you're looking for luxury, especially if you're looking for craftsmanship, range, and charging capabilities? Let me know down in that comment section. I promise you the people from Cadillac will read those comments because they're curious to see what you have to say about this new Optiq. But until we meet another day in another town far, far away from here, if you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Ladies Rides family. We got to give it up, Stephen Flood, the man behind the camera, working the muscles, getting it done, showing you all the angles. Show him some love in the comment section. Thank you, Stephen, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.